New scientific evidence links Stonehenge to the Mayan calendar and Doomsday 2012 prophecy. The Mayan calendar works like most clocks we use today, moving forward in time. It depicts the end of time on December 21st, 2012. Stonehenge is also a timer, but unlike the Mayan calendar, it works in the opposite direction, like an egg timer. You will soon see how these two timepieces built on opposite sides of the planet coincide and terminate at an exact point in time, depicting the end. Stonehenge is a well-guarded prehistoric monument with inner circle access granted for special purposes only. Visitors are no longer permitted to touch the stones, but are able to walk around the monument from several feet away. Myself and a group of 25 scientists were given special entrance privileges by the English Heritage to examine and test the surfaces of some of the stones using a new technique of laser scanning which produces high-resolution images. There are many visible carvings on the stones that can be clearly seen with the naked eye. Even embedded bullets from World War I riddle the exterior of some of the stones. Some of these carvings were made as recent as the late 1800s, and one in particular denotes the name of one of the founders of the Freemasons. Carvings of so-called axe heads and daggers are a common sight on the stones and date as far back as 2000 BC. Most archaeologists theorize these axe heads and daggers symbolize commemoration of the dead. The carvings that I have focused my study on during this visit to Stonehenge date back to 3100 BC, and most of them are barely visible to the naked eye. The laser scanning imaging equipment we used for this study allows scientists to view those hard-to-see ancient carvings at a much higher resolution. These higher resolution images give us the tools we need to decipher and better understand the meaning of these ancient symbols. The best results were obtained from the base of the heel stones and trilithons. These are the main stones responsible for the guidance of the sun rays into the henge during the summer and winter solstice. Of additional interest are these photos of UFOs provided by the English Heritage that were taken within the last couple of years. As this video circles the stones, several of the larger carvings and symbols will be highlighted with a red circle. These are not the laser findings. These are just an example of a few of the larger symbols that were carved into the stones over thousands of years. Many have questioned, why would ancient man build such a monument? How did he build it without modern equipment? Or was he actually guided by an intelligence that's purpose was to leave a sign or future guide to man's existence? A warning, perhaps? Who knows? Mankind generally used the cycle of the moon as a unit of timekeeping. Every year on the first day of summer, the sun rises at a point that is further north than any other day of the year. At the ruins of Stonehenge, this solstice sunrise appears on the horizon in direct alignment with a massive rock called the heel stone. The heel stone serves the same purpose as the hands on a clock, but this ancient clock runs backwards. It is a countdown clock. It's a countdown to doomsday. During most parts of the year, the sunrise or sunset cannot be seen from the center of the monument. But on the longest day of the year, the June 21st summer solstice, the rising sun appears behind a heel stone, creating the illusion that it is balancing on the stone. The rising sun elevates up the length of the rock, creating a shadow that extends deep into the heart of the henge. This light travels through the outer stones, called trilithons. In a few years, 2012, due to the wobble of the Earth on its axis and certain other important alignments, the giant heel stone will no longer cast its shadow within the circle of stones. It will mean that time has run out. I have come to the conclusion that the 3D images obtained from the surfaces of the stones during this expedition are in fact ancient Sumerian symbols, the first written language known to man. These Sumerian numerals can now be authenticated by radiocarbon-14 dating. We can now clearly decipher the results of this scientific find, and the results are nothing less than astonishing. Presented here are the symbols found at the base of the heel and trilithon stones, as rendered by the 3D imaging process used to enhance the aged and worn-out carvings. What you are looking at is a variation of the very first Sumerian numerals used by the human race. These Sumerian-based symbols represent the numbers 33 and 32 in that order. This may not seem at first to be a breakthrough finding to the average person, but as an archaeologist familiar with the ancient numeral system, in layman's terms, that means 2012 represents the year of the end of the original use of Stonehenge as a timing device. The exact date of the last winter solstice that will reflect light into Stonehenge will be December 21st, 2012. One more piece to the doomsday puzzle has been presented with scientific-based evidence. Whether the world is doomed to come to an end or not, I do not have the answer. But one thing is for certain: something is going to happen.